Bonjour à tous, j'espère que vous allez super bien aujourd'hui. Euh, donc aujourd'hui, on ferait le sujet le passé composé avec le verbe avoir. Donc je vais partager mon écran pour que vous puissiez regarder ma présentation. D'accord. OK, le passé composé avec le verbe avoir, auxiliaire. Le verbe auxiliaire, avoir. So we have it with two verbs, right? With avoir and être. Donc aujourd'hui, on va essayer de comprendre ou apprendre avec le verbe avoir. D'accord. Donc, passé composé, so you already know it is past tense in French. Now, in French, the passé composé is used to express an action completed in the past. L'action qui est terminée, okay? Action which is completed, okay? It is the tense of conversation and informal writing, okay? The passé composé is formed by using the appropriate present tense form of the helping verb avoir or être and the past participle of the main verb. Most of the verbs use avoir as the helping verb to form the past tense. So I hope you already know that passé composé is being done with two helping verbs. One is avoir, which means to have. The other is être, which means to be. Now, today we'll be discovering the passé composé avec le verbe avoir. Now, how it is formed, it has been said in this paragraph, but I will be sharing the structure. Now, first, as we just saw here that we have to conjugate the verb avoir or être. So I'll not talk about être. So we have to conjugate the verb avoir in present tense followed by the past participle of the main verb. Now, what is past participle actually? I think I'll give you one example. Now, for example, in English, when I say I eat the food, it is present tense, okay? The verb is to eat. If I have to say this in past tense, I will say I have eaten my food, right? So if you can relate this thing with this, the subject is I, which is je, okay? Then you have put the auxiliary verb, which is avoir, it's have, I have. And eaten is the past participle to the verb to eat in present, right? So eaten is the past participle. So it becomes I have eaten and then followed by the object, my food, right? Similarly, now how we have, from where this eaten has come from, this we will learn like in French. Okay, so this is called the past participle. Now in French, how do we form the past participle? Here it is, formation du participe passé. The past participle of the regular verbs is formed by replacing the infinitive endings as follows. The verbs in ER. So the ER ending verbs, par exemple, parler. What do? We cancel the R. Okay, we cancel the R and we put accent aigu sur la lettre E. Okay, now here we are putting the accent aigu on E. Of course, there has to be an auxiliary verb, which is avoir. So it becomes j'ai parlé. I have spoken or I have talked. Okay, j'ai parlé. Okay. The IR ending verbs, the rule is to cancel the R at the beginning and it remains same. We don't add anything. So, par exemple, finir in this infinitive verb, the past participle becomes fini. Okay, juste fini. Okay, j'ai fini mon travail. The RE ending verbs, what we do, we cancel the whole RE and we add U at the end. So it becomes vendu. Okay, this is the basic general rule which applies to all the regular verbs of all the three groups. Okay, ER, IR, RE. So this is the rule. Okay, but there are, of course, certain exceptions that you need to know, and in fact, you have to learn the past participles to those exceptional verbs. Okay. Now, I hope this is clear, the endings. So here is an example. Les verbes conjugués avec avoir au passé composé. Now, par exemple, the verb parler, this is ER ending verb. Now, how we conjugate it in passé? It is j'ai parlé, I have spoken. Tu as, avoir in present tense plus the past participle. Tu as parlé, il a parlé, elle a parlé. Nous avons parlé, vous avez parlé, ils ont parlé, elles ont parlé. Right? They have spoken, like that. Similarly with IR and RE, this you can see, j'ai fini, tu as fini, il a fini, elle a fini, nous avons fini, vous avez fini, ils ont fini, elles ont fini. Okay, vendre is to sell. J'ai vendu, tu as vendu, il, elle a vendu, nous avons vendu, vous avez vendu, ils ont vendu, elles ont vendu. Okay, this is the general basic rule which applies with all the three groups of verbs. Alors, c'est en fait la conjugaison à la forme négative. Okay, now where do you put this thing? Ne pas. The placement of ne pas in passé composé. It has to be before and after the auxiliary verb. The auxiliary verb here, we are talking about the verb avoir. Okay, we do not have to put pas after parler, no. Okay, on ne peut pas faire ça parce que parler, it is not a verb. Okay, now it is, what's the rule to ne pas? Ne pas ka rule ye hota hai that we place no before the verb and pas after the verb, right? But parler जो ये लिखा हुआ है e accent aigu के साथ, it is not a verb. Now it is no more a verb. Now it has become a past participle. So you cannot place pa after the past participle. That's not the rule. The rule is before and after the verb. So here we are talking about the auxiliary verb. So it has to be before and after avoir. Je n'ai pas parlé. Okay. Tu n'as pas fini. Nous n'avons pas vendu. Okay. C'est comme ça, on va mettre ne and pas. Ok? Donc, il faut faire attention. Où est-ce qu'il faut mettre ne pas dans la phrase au passé? Okay? Now, you have to be very careful where to put ne pas, even in your speaking and, of course, in your writing. So, if you're not putting the placement correctly, ne pas, then, of course, you lose points there. Now, this is à la forme interrogative. Interrogative, pardon. Ai-je parlé? OK. Then, as-tu parlé? A-t-il parlé? Avons-nous fini? Avons-nous vendu? So, this is how you do the inversion thing. Okay. With the question in past. Okay. So, you can go through this. Then, il y a un petit paragraphe que j'ai écrit au passé composé. Now, you just see how the sentences are made. Donc, il y a un petit paragraphe in French using the passé composé with the auxiliary verb avoir exclusively along with its English translation. Il y a la traduction aussi. OK? Now, the French, hier, j'ai visité le musée. Yesterday, I have visited the museum. So, the action started and completed. Okay, I am not being visiting. Okay, so I just visited the museum once, started and finished. J'ai admiré de magnifiques tableaux. Okay, I admired the wonderful tableau. What? The artwork, right? J'ai lu les descriptions avec attention. I read all the descriptions with attention or carefully. J'ai rencontré, I met, un guide qui m'a expliqué l'histoire de chaque œuvre. I met a guide who explained me. Again, all these actions started and finished, right? Who explained me the history of each piece of work. J'ai pris beaucoup de photos et j'ai acheté un souvenir dans la boutique du musée. I took a lot of photos. Okay? Again, c'est au passé composé avec avoir. Prendre is the verb. Et j'ai acheté un souvenir dans la boutique du musée. And I bought a souvenir in the museum shop. J'ai passé une excellente journée. Alors, j'ai passé une excellente journée. I passed, I spent an excellent day. Okay, so there are only people who will say passé is conjugated with the verb être. Now, that's a different thing where we conjugate passé with être and where we conjugate passé with avoir. Il y a une petite différence, peut-être je vais vous dire maintenant. Basically, जो हम उसमें करते हैं Dr. Mrs. Vandertramp, which we have been taught, or Advent thing, उसमें we say passé is conjugated with être, right? But then we use it with être when the action is happening on the subject. For example, I passed by a house of my friend. So, ça veut dire je suis passé. Je suis passé par la maison de mon ami. When I say I passed by telle ou telle chose, then it is the verb être. But when I say passer quelque chose, the action is on the object, then it is avoir. For example, I passed an excellent day. मैं खुद pass नहीं हुई हूँ. I passed an excellent day. I enjoyed that day. Another example, I passed a pen to my friend. So what I passed, मैंने अपने आप को pass नहीं किया. I will not say je suis passé. I passed a pen, right? So j'ai passé un stylo à mon ami. Okay? So when the action is on the object, then you use the verb avoir. Okay? Alors, ce sont les verbes, tous les verbes au passé composé avec avoir. So here, prendre was an exception. Even this verb lire. Okay, though prendre ends with re and lire ends with re. Ce sont des exceptions. Alors, les participes passés de ces deux verbes, il faut les apprendre. You have to learn them. So lire becomes lu, prendre becomes pris. Okay, it is not prendu. I have heard many times with from my students saying prendu. C'est pas prendu, c'est pris. And it's a very, very common verb. We use it a lot. So now here is English translation. Vous pouvez le voir, regarder, etc. Now, il y a un exercice que je vous donne régulièrement quand je fais une vidéo sur YouTube. So I give you exercise every time I make a video on YouTube. So complétez les phrases avec le passé composé. Peut-être vous pouvez le faire ou on peut le faire ensemble. The first one, son grand-père. Tick, 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 3 seconds, 5 seconds. I hope you have already got the answer. So it becomes a donné. Why donné? Accent aigu because it is ER ending verb and the rule says we cancel the R and we put accent aigu on the letter E. So, son grand-père. He gave a bicycle, right? Pendant 8 heures. Dormir. So you conjugate the auxiliary verb avoir in present, that is I, and then you put the past participle. J'ai dormi. Pendant 8 heures. IR ending verb. What's the rule? We just cancel R and we are left with the participe passé, okay, of the verb dormir. Patrick. So it is third person singular. What will be? Patrick a mangé. So this is ER ending verb. So you put accent aigu on E. Patrick a mangé des gâteaux. Elles ont fini. Okay? Elles ont fini. Plural avoir and fini past participle. Nathalie a monnaie. Again, ER ending, simple. You have to cancel the R and you put accent aigu. IR ending, what do? You cancel the R and you're left with the pardon, j'ai un appel. Ok, je peux rater cet appel, pas grave. Tu as réussi. So you just cancel the R at the end. Vous, again, IR ending verb. Alors, vous avez choisi. You cancel the R at the end. And vous avez choisi ce livre de Molière. Okay. Huitième, Sébastien. ER ending verb. Third person singular. So you cancel R and you put accent aigu sur la lettre E. A écouter attentivement. Sébastien a écouté attentivement. Vous, okay, RE ending verb. Now, what's the rule? First, you put avoir in present tense and RE ending में you cancel RE and then you put U at the end. So it becomes vous avez vendu. Okay? So, vous avez vendu la villa. Villa, c'est féminin, okay? La villa. Dernière phrase. Défendre. Again, RE, défendre. Now, what it will be? Elle a défendu. Okay, tout simplement. So it is very easy with regular verbs and the rule. C'est en fait facile à apprendre. Okay, but it is a very, very important tense, passé composé, if you're preparing for your competitive exams like DELF, TCF, etc. Passé composé, c'est quelque chose de vraiment, vraiment important. Il faut bien le pratiquer. Il faut pratiquer régulièrement avec des exercices. Il faut pratiquer, en fait, l'oral avec vos amis, avec vos proches, etc. So it becomes important. Okay. So I think it was a not very difficult topic. It was easy. Now you can learn French with me. Moi, je vous prépare pour tous les examens comme DELF, TCF, etc. I have spoken French as well, separate classes. I do have pre-recorded courses for A1, A2, and B1. You can check out my website, which is www.shivanijainfrench.com. Okay, there you will have all the courses available. Vous pouvez peut-être voir, regarder mon site web. Et à la fin, toujours, comme toujours, merci beaucoup à tous. Je vous espère une bonne journée. Au revoir.